Hey guys, today you are going to see how you can create this scene in Blender Cycles, and I'm going to show you the ways that I have used in order to achieve this result. You can find this project file on my Patreon if you like to see it and if you like to see in detail what I have done. And I hope you like this video. Let's get to the tutorial. When we start the tutorial, this is just a default Blend file. You'll find some of the the weeds and the rocks in the project file in the description below. You can download them, you can work with them. So after this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to press A and then X and then delete faces. I'm going to press N and let me activate this shortcut so that you can see what I am clicking. After this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to press Shift A and I'm going to add a plane. Since we're going to work with a plane, first we are going to model the ground. I'm going to press N in my keyboard and I'm going to go to this item. When you do that, as you can see, we can see the properties of this plane. So I'm going to make the Y to 9.5 meters. I want the distance of the road to be 9.5 meters. And for the X, I'm going to press SX and I'm going to scale it in the X axis. I think something like this would be good. After this, I'm going to get inside of the edit mode by pressing tab. And I'm going to click this, edge selection mode. I'm going to select this edge. And I'm going to go to the top view and I'm going to press E and then extrude it. As you can see, when I do that, the extrusion is not fixed on a fixed axis, on one of the axes. So I'm going to press Y, so it will be fixed on the Y axis. After this, I'm going to make it extruded so maybe 8.1 meters will be good. After this, I'm going to press GZ and move it a little bit upward. Yep, so maybe 2.6 meters will be good. After this, I'm going to press E again and then press Y so that it will be snapped or fixed upon the Y axis. And I'm going to place it somewhere around here. You can press GY, this does not matter. So after this, I'm going to create the opening for the parking. So I'm going to press Ctrl R. When I do that, you can see I'm adding an edge loop. So I'm going to select it and then place it right here. And then again, press Ctrl R, click it. Then after you have clicked it, you can control, the placement. I'm going to snap it right here and then press GX and then type 4.5 meters. It's going to be placed 4.5 meters, away from the first position. So after this, I'm going to select this face selection mode. I'm going to select this face and then press X and then delete this face. And then next, select this face and then press E to extrude it. As you can see, when you do that, it's being extruded along the normals. I want this to be extruded in the Y axis, so I'm going to press Y. When you do that, as you can see, it's being extruded in the Y axis. This is what I want. So I'm going to place it somewhere around here. After this, I'm going to select this face and then, and I'm going to select this face also, press Shift D. As you can see, when I do that, it's being duplicated, and then press P and then selection. When you do that, this will be a new separate material. This is what I want. So I'm going to hit slash in my numpad so that it will be isolated. So after this, I'm going to go to inside the edit mode by pressing that. I'm going to change this to edge selection mode. And then after this, I'm going to press Ctrl R, as you can see, and then place something like this, and then press SY and then 0 so that it will be vertical. And then again, place it right here. SY, as you can see, when I scale it in the Y axis, as you can see, it will be closer to a straight line. So I'm going to press SY and then 0 again. So after this, I'm going to delete this once and then press faces. After this, I'm going to select this edge, select this edge also, and then press GY and then move it something like this. This is what I want. So after this, I'm going to select this, maybe press A and then right click, and then before that, let me change this to face selection mode, right click, and then extrude along normals. As you can see, it's being extruded along the normals. So I want this to be extruded, maybe something like this will be good. Yep. You can control, the distance by entering a value right here. You can make this to 0. It will depend upon you. So after this, if I press slash in my numpad, as you can see, I have somehow created, the concrete structure that's for the parking. So after this, let us model the house. So just get out of the edit mode by pressing tab, press shift right click somewhere, the right click, and then add a cube, and then press GZ, and then type 1, so that it will be moved 1 meter upward, since the dimensions of the cube is 2 by 2 and by 2. As you can see, it's on the face. After this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this transform pivot point to 3D cursor. When I do that, if I press SZ, as you can see, it's being transformed according to this 3D cursor. But if this was a median point, for example, as you can see, it's being scaled according to its median point or pivot point or origin point. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this to 3D cursor so that it will be scaled upon this 3D cursor. and I'm going to press SZ so that it will be scaled on the SZ axis, and I'm going to make it maybe something like 4.6 or something, maybe 4.6 or something. But when I do that, the snapping, it will be moved up, away from the floor. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to activate this snap button and activate this, and then press G so that this will be, snap to this face. So after this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to adjust the Y dimension. So the Y will be 18.5 meters, something like that. I mean, sorry, the X. Sorry, the X. And then for the Y, I think, yep, I think 8.6 will be good. And then I'm going to press GX and snap it to this edge. Yep. And then press GY again, snap it to this edge, as you can see. So after this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this one and I'm going to press tab in my keyboard. And I'll go inside the edit mode. I'm going to press Ctrl R to add an edge loop. And I'm going to snap it to this edge. And then press, before that, let me deactivate the snap, press GX. And then place it somewhere around here. As you can see, you can control the amount right here. So I'm going to make it 0.85 minus 0.85. After this, I'm going to press Ctrl R again, snap it to this edge, press GX, and then 0.85. Type 0.85 in your keyboard so that it will be the same distance right here and right here. So after this, I'm going to press Ctrl R and then place an edge loop somewhere around here. I think something like this will be good. After this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this and then also select this by holding Shift. You can select multiple faces or edges by holding down Shift. After this, press Shift D and duplicate it. And then press P and then selection. After this, get out of the edit mode. So I'm going to select this one. Go to edit mode by pressing tab and then press A. Then I'm going to activate the snap button and then E to extrude it. As you can see, it will snap to this edge. After this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get out of the edit mode and select this and get inside again. And I'm going to select this, hold on Shift, select multiple faces and then press Shift D. It will be duplicated and then P and then selection. It will be separate material, I mean object. So after this, go to the edit mode by pressing tab and then press A and then E. It will snap it right here since the snap button is activated. So after this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this one and then press, let me deactivate the snap button, press GY and move it a little bit to the Y axis. After this, I'm going to select this one, go to the edit mode by pressing tab, and I'm going to press Ctrl R to add an edge loop and then place it somewhere around here will be good, I think. After this, I'm going to press Shift D to duplicate it and then press P and then selection. So after this, I'm going to select the box, this box, and I'm going to delete it since I'm not going to need it anymore. And I'm going to select this one and then press Shift D again to duplicate it. And then press activate the snap button, press GY and it's not right here. Go to the edit mode by pressing tab and then press A and then F to fill it. As you can see, it's filled. And then again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this for the glass, this one for the glass. Let me select it. I'm going to go inside the edit mode by pressing tab and I'm going to press A and then F to fill it. After this, I'm going to go to this view and let me select this edge, the top part. To see what I'm selecting, I'm going to activate this X-ray mode. Make sure that this cursor is activated and then press GZ. Sorry, I think we need to dissolve some vertexes. What I'm going to do is just go inside the vertex mode and select the vertex that are needed. So I'm going to select this, press X and then dissolve vertices. After this, I can just go this to edge selection mode, select this edge, press GZ and then I can just snap it right here. Select this one, GX, snap it right here, select this one, GX and snap it right here. After this, it's already filled. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press H, select everything. Let me go to this X-ray mode so that I can see through the floor. And then press E, and then I'm going to extrude it somewhere around here. Yep, I think this could be the thickness of the mullions of the window. After this, what I'm going to do is let me deactivate the snap button and deactivate this X-ray mode, and then I can press Ctrl R, and then you can scroll your middle mouse upward to increase the number of edge loops that are included. So maybe something like this will be good. Yep, because after this, I'm going to press Ctrl B and then bevel it. As you can see, when I do that, I have something. I'm going to use this as the mullion or something like this. You can see the distance. So I'm going to make 0.005 only. Yep. After this, I'm going to press Ctrl R just make the top part also as close to the other mullions. It does not have to be that much accurate, since accuracy is not that much needed right here. So I'm just going to make it as close as possible so that it won't look off from the from the camera view. Yep, I'm just using eyeballing to guess the distance between between the edges. I think this will be good. After this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to this face selection mode. I'm going to select this face. Just select the faces that the glass is going to be placed. Yep. After this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get out of the edit mode for now. I'm going to select this one, press 8 to hide it so that I can see the back part, and select this one, go to the edit mode again. The selection is already saved, so you don't have to worry about it. And hold on shift and select those select those glasses. So after this, what I'm going to do is, before anything, let me get out of the edit mode. Let me activate this scale. Apply the scale. So press Ctrl A, and then apply the scale. This is crucial. After this, get inside the edit mode again, and then right click, and then extrude faces along normals. When you do that, you can extrude them, as you can see. So I'm just going to extrude them, maybe something like this. I can go to top view and activate this extra mode, and I can see how much it's being extruded. As you can see, you can control the amount right here. Something like this will be good. After you have clicked outside of outside, or after I've clicked anywhere, it will the manipulation right here will disappear. So make sure that you don't click anywhere else unless you are good with what you have done. So after this, I'm going to press Alt H to unhide the object that I have hidden. So I'm going to select this one again, press Shift 3 to duplicate it, right click and set origin to geometry, and after this I'm going to press SZ, maybe something like this. Let me change the pivot point, transform pivot point to medium point, press SC. Yep, something like this will be good. Let me deactivate this extreme mode, and then press GZ. But let me activate this snap, press GZ. Maybe something like this will be good. Yep, and then again GY, something like this. And let me select this one. Let me adjust it. So I'm going to get inside the date mode by pressing tab. Let me activate this extreme mode. This is H selection mode, so I'm going to select this like this, then press GZ. Let me deactivate this. It's affecting, just GZ and just place it somewhere around here, and activate it again, and then GZ, and then it will be snapped in the place that you want it to be snapped. So I'm going to select this one again, go to the edit mode by pressing tab, and then let me activate this extreme mode. I'm going to select like this by box select, press GX, just move it somewhere around here, and then GX and snap it right here. Do the same process right here, GX and then GX again. The thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to place some textures. So I'm going to deactivate this extreme mode, and I'm going to press tab so that I can get out of this edit mode. So then the one thing that I have forgotten is I'm going to select this ground and select tab and go to the inside the edit mode, and I'm going to select this edge by holding on shift, and at first I'm going to get inside right here, and I'm going to press E to extrude it, and I'm going to extrude it maybe something like this. Yep, and then E again, and then Y, so that it will be fixed on the Y axis. Yep, this is the road, and this will be the turn. So I think I finished. So what I'm going to do for the texturing is I'm going to use two textures to create this road texture. So I'm going to drag this out, and then I'm going to change this one to shade editor. As you can see, we don't have any materials, and I'm going to create select this. This is similar to this one. So if I press new, as you can see, we will have some principal base div. This is the default material in Blender, but it does not have any textures. So if I go to EV material preview, as you can see, we don't have any textures. If I, for example, change this to black, as you can see, it will change to black, but this is not what we want. We want image textures to be applied on this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this one, and I'm going to hold Control Shift and then T. This folder will pop out. But in case this folder does not pop out, what you have to do is go to Edit and the Preferences, and in the add-ons, type Node Wrangler. This is the add-on responsible for this the folder popping out. Make sure that this add-on is activated, and then after this, go to click this and save preferences. So after this, select this one, Control Shift T, and this folder will pop out. And go select the folder that you have downloaded, which you'll find the link in the description below. It's a texture from embassyg.com. So I'm going to select this. I think it's the raw texture. I'm going to select this one. So I'm going to select the color. and I need the normal, not the normal GL, the roughness, and I think I need the displacement. You can hold on Control to select, multiple maps. After this, select this principal texture setup. When you do that, as you can see, we have some texture, but the texture is not correct, right? So in order to change that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click tab to go inside the edit mode. So I'm going to select place seams. So I'm going to select where the road is going to be, right click and then mark seam, and then again just place the seams on the places that the road is going to be, right click and then mark seam. As you can see, this is the place where the road is going to be placed, so I have placed seams. After this, I'm going to get out of inside the edit mode. As you can see, the scale is not applied, so I'm going to press Ctrl A and apply the scale. So after this, I'm going to get inside the edit mode again and then press A and then U and then unwrap. When I do that, the UV is unwrapped correctly, but as you can see, the scaling is not correct, so we need to adjust the scale. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a partition right here. As you can see, I'm going to create a partition right here, and I'm going to change this one to UV editor. So after this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this one, the road. As you can see, this is the road. So I'm going to press A to select everything right here, press R, and then 90 degree. Now it's rotated 90 degree. After this, I'm going to place this maybe somewhere around here in closer to the cursor. After this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this pivot point to the cursor. After this, I'm going to press S to scale it until it matches, the width of this texture. So I'm going to press S. Yep, I think it's correct right now. So after this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to, have some kind of, dirt on the side of the road. So to do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix two textures. So I'm going to select this one. I'm going to press Shift D to duplicate it. And then I'm going to select this one and then Control Shift T again to open the folder. So this is the texture. So I'm going to use the diffuse, the displacement, and the normal GL, and then I think the roughness. I think all this will be enough. So I'm going to select principal texture setup. So after this, I'm going to press Shift A and add a mix shader, and I'm going to place this one right here, and I'm going to plug this one right here, and I'm going to plug one of this at the bottom and this one at the top. Let me plug this one at the top. Yep. Then I'm going to use a factor image. So to do that, I'm going to press Shift A and add image texture. So I'm going to open it. As you can see, you will find this road mask. So I'm going to click open. I'm going to use this as a factor. So as you can see, it's blending between this, the concrete texture and the road, as you can see. So the function of this one is, if I press Ctrl Shift click right here, as you can see, we have a black and white portion. So on the black part, one of the texture is going to be placed in, and the white part, one of the texture is going to be placed. I think the concept is really simple. We can control, for example, if I press Ctrl T, for example, I can, change, the location of this. As you can see, I can change the Y value. I don't think the Z value will affect this. So make sure that this coordinate is UV. For example, if I change this to object, as you can see, we want this to be on the UV, since we have UV unwrap this one. And after this, what I can do is, for example, if I just plug this one right here, let me delete this one. Yep. If I press Shift A and add a color ramp, sorry, Shift A and add a color ramp, I can plug it right here. I can control the black and the white portions of this, mask. So if I Control Shift click right here, so if I click it right here, as you can see, we don't see that gradient anymore. The black is very intense. And for example, if I change, bring the white value right here, as you can see, the black value is, diminishing. So that's the function of this color. So I'm just going to Control Shift click this one. So the next thing that I have to do is I'm going to go to this vertex properties, and I'm going to click this UV maps, and I'm going to hit class. After this, I have a different UV map, as you can see. After I have created a new UV map, what I'm going to do is I'm going to, Control Shift click this one and then press U and then unwrap. Now I have a different UV map. So what I can do is I'm going to delete this one, since I'm not going to need it. Press Shift A and add UV map. And then I'm going to plug this one to this UV, and I'm going to change this one to the second UV map. So this texture is using the second UV map that we have unwrapped. For example, if I click this one, as you can see, this is the different UV map, and this one, the second one, as you can see. Now the mask is a little bit off, so I can adjust the the scale of this mask without affecting the road UV maps. I'm going to press S to scale it, as you can see. I'm going to press GX and let me deactivate this one. Press GX. I think maybe something like this will be good. Let me deactivate show overlay so that I can see. So as you can see, I think it's a little better. I can make it smaller and GY. I think I don't need the all over of the mask, so I'm going to press GX. Yep, maybe something like this will be good. Yeah, maybe something like this will be good. So the next thing that we need to do is we need to add some cracks on the road. The road is a little bit too perfect. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create another mask. So I'm going to place this one right here, and I'm going to select this one and press Ctrl Shift D to duplicate it again, and then after this Ctrl Shift T again to create another folder so that I can create a principal base dev setup. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this. I'm going to select the color, the normal gel, the roughness, and the displacement. This texture also will find in the description below. So I'm going to select principal texture setup. After this, I'm going to press G just to move it somewhere so that it won't overlap. So I'm going to select this, this mix shader again, press Shift D to duplicate it. And then again, plus this one at the bottom, at the top, and plus like this already finished setup right here. And I'm going to plug this one right here. For the mask, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a Musgrave texture. So I'm going to press Shift A and type Musgrave texture. Yep. And I'm going to place this one right here. As you can see, it's already blending, but this is not how I want it to blend. So I'm going to plug this one right here. So as I have said earlier, it's going to use, if I Control Shift click right here, it's going to place one of the textures on the black and one of the textures on the white, and wherever there's gray, it's going to blend between those two textures. So that is the concept. So I'm going to make the dimension to 0 so that I will have, some detail, and I'm going to make the detail to 16. I think this will be good. After this, I'm going to press Ctrl T to add a mapping node, and I'm going to change this one to object so that it will be, distributed along the plane, perfectly, procedurally. So after this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to decrease the scale to maybe 0.5 or something. I can also control the scale right here, so I can just, decrease it, maybe maybe 0.5 also right here, maybe 0.1. What I'm going to do is I'm going to Control Shift click this one. So just what I'm going to do is, for example, I'm going to click, sorry, this road is already selected. So press Control I to select, the other parts. And after this, I'm going to press New, and then I'm going to hit Assign so that it will be assigned to this one. Since this is going to be a new material, I don't want this to disturb what we are doing. That's why. So after this, I'm going to get inside of activate this show overlays, and I'm going to select, the raw textures. I think we have kind of finished blending between those textures. All we have to do is control how much this is going to be blended between. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a color ramp again. I'm going to place it right here. As I have said earlier, we can control the gradient of between those white and black textures by using this color ramp. So what I can do is I'm going to hit Control Shift click. As you can see, if I drag the black value, as you can see, the black is going to be more intense. And if I drag the white value is going to be more intense. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to press Shift A and add a value node so that I can control the value right here. So I'm going to make the value 0.1, maybe 0.05 will be good, 0.01. I think the size is, I think, let's see what this will give us. I'm going to Control Shift click this one so that, it will preview this one. So as you can see, this is the combination of between those two textures. So what I'm going to do is the crack right here is a little bit too big. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to control the scale right here. Since this is the one for the crack, as you can see, we have the scale right here. So I'm going to press Shift A and add a value, and I'm going to plug this one right here. So I can make this one maybe 10 or something, so that it will be a lot smaller. But I don't think 10 is good. Maybe 5. Sorry, maybe 5. And I think the crack part is a little bit too much. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to I'm going to exchange them places, since I want the raw part to be more visible than the cracks. As you can see, we can see the cracks, and we can control also, for example, we can control the location of this. For example, if I drag this X value, as you can see, We can control this one, and also I can control shift click right here. So in order to see which one is on the black and which one is on the white, just I'm going to focus on the right area right here. I'm going to control shift click. As you can see, the white part is the crack. So you can just increase the white part by using this, or you can just make the scale, for example, 0.2, 0.0 or something, maybe something like this. And I can just control the y and the x value. You can hold on shift to control it. As you can see, there are places which have a lot of white value, so you can just change the locations to see if you want to see more cracks. I think you get the concept of this one. So after this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to press shift A and add RGB curves, and I'm going to plug this one to on the cracks on the color, and I'm going to make the crack a little bit more white, since whenever there's a crack, it's just that will imply there's some kind of destruction. So as you can see, it will give us a feeling of as if the road is fading away. So I think we have finished texturing the road. So the next thing that we have to do is texturing the house. So I'm going to get out of the edit mode by pressing tab. I'm going to select this one. Since everything is going to have the same material, I'm going to give this one a material. But before that, I'm going to UV wrap it. So I'm going to get inside of the edit mode. Let me select anywhere else to deactivate in selection. I'm going to change this to edge selection mode. Select and then select sharp edge, and then right click and then mark C, and then press A and then U and then unwrap. So if I go right here, as you can see, I have the UV map of this one. So after this does not have any material, so I can press new as I have done before. Where's the principal setup? As you can see, it's right here, and I can press Control Shift T again to open the folder. So I'm going to select the texture that I'm going to place right here. So as you can see, I've placed the texture that I am going to use. I've selected that. So the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to select this one, and I'm going to press Shift 3 to duplicate it. And I'm going to make this one a different, so that whenever I'm making chain to this one, it won't chain this one also, since I have duplicated from the same part. So make sure you do that. After this, I'm going to change this to non-color data. Everything has to be non-color data beside the color, the diffuse map. So I'm going to select this one, and I'm going to select the ambient occlusion for the concrete texture, which you'll find this in the link in the description. You don't have to worry about it. It's a texture from ambientcg.com. So I'm going to select the ambient occlusion. So after this, I'm going to press Shift A and add a mix RGB shader. After this, I'm going to plug this one, place this one in the middle. It's going to create the nodes automatically. And I'm going to plug this one on the second. And I'm going to change this one to multiply. Where's the multiply? Yep. I can make this one 1. After this, I'm going to give this one also the vector, the mapping node. So after this, we have something right. So if I, for example, plug this one right here, we don't have that much detail, but if I unplug the ambient occlusion, we can see more detail. So after this, I can press Shift A and add a math node and plug it right here in the ambient occlusion, and I can change this one to power. And for example, if I make it to 2, as you can see, we have more ambient occlusion and we have more detail. So you can control this like this. I think it's really simple. But that is what I'm going to do. This one is already selected, so I'm going to drag and drop it right here. Drag and drop this on the place where it will have the same material. So I think this will be something like this. Maybe drag and drop it right here. No, I don't need. Sorry. After this needs to be UV wrapped. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this one, select everything that will need to be UV wrapped, and I'm going to select this one also, and I'm going to go inside of the edit mode by pressing tab. After this, I'm going to deselect by selecting anywhere else, and then go to select and then select sharp edge. It will select every sharp edge in the selected part. Right click and then maxim. After this, press A and then U and then unwrap. Make sure that the UV before UV unwrapping that you have applied the scale. Press tab and then press A again. Press U and then unwrap. Now I think it's looking good. But again, I'm going to get inside the edit mode. I'm going to select this parts, and then what I'm going to do is, I think this one is enough. This will be similar to this one. So I'm going to press A, and then I'm going to scale it until it matches the size of. Yep, I think this will be good. And after this, I'm going to select this one and also this one. Hold on Shift. You can see what I'm selecting. If I activate the show overlays, and then I'm going to scale it. Let me deactivate so that I can see what I'm working with. I think, yep, I think this will be good. This does not need to be that much, 100% accurate. Yep. After this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this one. As you can see, this one is the scale is not also correct, so I'm going to press Ctrl A and apply the scale, and then get inside the edit mode, and then U, and then unwrap. Yep, when I do that, now I can see the alignment being applied correctly. After this, I need to select this one, press Ctrl A and apply the scale, and then get inside the edit mode, press AU, and then unwrap. Now the UV map is placed correctly. Yep. After this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give this glass texture. So I'm going to hit new, and then again new. Since we will have two materials, the glass and the mullion, I'm going to hit new again. If I get inside the edit mode, I can select, the parts where the glass is going to be placed. So I've already selected everything. This is going to be the glass, so I'm going to name it glass. Yep, I'm going to name it glass, and I'm going to hit sign. And for the mullion, I'm going to make it black. Yep, maybe something like this, so that it will match the color of the concrete. Since I'm going to make the concrete a little bit more black, so I'm going to decrease the roughness. And for the glass, I'm going to click this glass, and I'm going to change the surface to glass, and I'm going to make the roughness to 0 and the IR to 1.5. And for the color, I'm going to make it a little bit more black, something like this. So now we have the basic shape of, or the basic shape of the house, and the texture is textured completely. And I'm going to select this one, and I'm going to drag and drop it right here for the white part. As you can see, you can just get inside it the mode by pressing tab, and then press E to extrude it so that it will fit it. Since this is not going to be visible, I'm not going to worry about it that much. I'm going to get out of the edit mode by pressing tab. The last thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to select the roof and then press E to hide it. And then I'm going to press Shift D, and then I'm going to place this one near to the mirror so that we won't see anything through the window. So the next thing that we need to do is we need to create the environment, and I'm going to press Ctrl R to add an edge loop. As you can see, let me go to this solid view so that you can see clearly. So I'm going to create an edge loop. Since I need more subdivisions for the turn, I'm going to press Ctrl R and then just scroll your middle mouse upwards, go to the places that need subdivision. Yep, I think like this, and then this one also. Just create those squares. You can, as I've said earlier, you can scroll your middle mouse upward to create those subdivisions. You can also control them right here. As you can see, number of cuts, as you can see. So I'm going to leave this one as 3. Yep, something like this. So after this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit plus. I'm going to create a vertex group. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this road, and I'm going to press Ctrl I to select the rest of, I'm going to invert selection. I'm going to press Ctrl I, and I'm going to assign this to this group, vertex group. We will use this later. So after this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get out of the edit mode. I'm going to add a displacement modifier, displacement, and I'm going to change this mid-level to 0. And then after this, I'm going to create a new texture, and I'm going to click this one. It will take me to this texture tab. And for this one, I'm not going to use any textures. I'm going to use the default cloud. So I'm going to create the cloud. As you can see, we have some displacement happening, right? But if I, for example, change the scale, as you can see, so I'm going to just make the scale to 2. We can add numbers, as if I drag it, as you can see, it won't go beyond 2. So I can just type number. So I can make it 5 or something like this. And I can change the soft to the hard so that it will be more hard. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to this modifier properties. I can control the strings right here. As you can see, I can control the strings of this terrain. So if I click this vertex group so that the road won't be selected, as you can see, the road is also somehow bumpy. So I'm going to select this vertex group. And then as you can see, as nothing is happening. So if I go to this vertex properties, and if I go to inside the edit mode by pressing tab, and if I select this group, as you can see, everything is selected. So there is a problem. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the road again. I'm going to hit remove so that it will be removed. So if I select again, as you can see, now the road is removed. So what I'm going to do next is if I go inside right here, just get out of the edit mode. As you can see, now everything is working properly. So what I can do is I can control, as I have said, the scale. Just right click and then shade smooth. Select this one, right click and shade smooth so that it will be smooth. You can, in the vertex group in the normals, you can adjust this arrow smooth so that it will be smoother. I can give it the subdivisions along the x-axis so that it will be more smooth, as you can see. And after this, I can also give it a subdivision surface, as you can see, so that it will be smoother, so that we won't see that seam between the road and the turn. The next thing that we are going to do is we are going to add some vegetation. To do that, we are going to use the add-on botanic add-on. It has 3 versions. We are going to use the free versions for this tutorial. You can use the light and the full versions if you want. So after you have downloaded, make sure that you have downloaded the version that you want, and after this go to edit and then preferences. In the add-ons tab, click install and then select the zip file that you have downloaded, and after that just install add-on. So after that you will probably find this something like this botanic, and make sure that this is activated. And if it's activated by default, you don't have to do anything, just go to click this one and then save preferences. After this, in order to find the install add-on, all you have to do is press N in your keyboard to pop out this, and then there is a tab called polygonic. When you do that, you can find this polygonic free. We are going to use this one, but before doing anything, if I go to this EV material preview, when we are applying grass on this using the scatter, it's going to displace or it's going to change the material. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this raw material, and I'm going to press 8, select everything, and I'm going to press Ctrl C, and I'm going to go to the second one, and I'm going to press new, and then X, and then to delete everything, and then press V, Ctrl V to paste the road. And after this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get inside of the edit mode, and I'm going to select the road. I'm going to let me change to face selection mode, and I'm going to select the road, and I'm going to hit assign to this road. So I want the second part to be the road, since it's going to displace the first materials. That's why I have made the road on the second material. And for this one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to press Ctrl I to invert the selection, and then I'm going to make this for the first material, and I can delete everything since I'm not going to need it. So this is what we are going to do. So after this, I'm going to hit Ctrl S to save it. Let me go to the solid view. If I place the grass on the EV property, on the EV material preview, it might crash. So just I'm going to hit Ctrl S since it might crash. So make sure that this terrain is selected. I'm going to hit plus, and we have several options, but most of them does not work. So I'm going to hit the grass, and for the grass I will have only one since this is the free version. So I'm going to hit OK. So after this, as you can see, it's scattered. I'm going to press Ctrl S since in case it crashes. And I have deactivated the subdivisions, but since it was crashing, so what I'm going to do is if I go to this, particle properties, it's using this particle. So I'm going to go to this vertex group, and I'm going to select the vertex group that I have created. So I'm going to select this group. So when I do that, as you can see, the road now is excluded since we don't need this one. If the road is being applied, if the grass is on the road, what you can do is just change, click this one, it will invert it. So that's something that you can do. What I'm going to do next, as you can see, the grass is being applied almost everywhere. So I need to assign this vertex group perfectly. Select this one, and I'm going to hit /numpad in my keyboard to isolate it. And I'm going to hit tab on my keyboard. And after this, I'm going to select this face, and then control click this face to select the consecutive faces. And after this, I'm going to assign this to this vertex group. Remove it since I don't need it, and also I'm going to click this one and control click this one, and I'm going to remove it. So I'm going to remove the parts where I don't need the grass to be applied on, since it's being applied on right here. So I'm going to press C in order to circle select. As you can see, you can select it simply like this. So I'm going to hit remove, and also I'm going to hit C, and I'm going to select like this. It's an easy way to select C, and then like this, and I'm going to hit remove. So now this is removed from this one. As you can see, if I press Ctrl S, now everything is looking good. So if I press / in my numpad to unhide everything, now this is what I got. So the next thing that we need to do is we need to add some trees, right? So I'm going to click spawn assets. As you can see, we have 4 trees on the dishes. So I'm going to use this black locust. I'm going to select it, and I'm going to I'm going to shift right click where I want the tree to be placed. So I'm going to hit OK. Now as you can see, the tree is placed. What I'm going to do is I'm going to select this one, and I'm going to deactivate in the viewport for the particle setting so that it could preview faster. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this one, and I'm going to press Shift D to duplicate it. Just use Shift D to duplicate it, and then after this I'm going to select the second one, this one, and I'm going to hit OK. Now it's placed right here, so but the scale is a little bit too much, so I'm going to press S to scale it, something like this. And then I'm going to press G, and then Shift D to duplicate it, and Shift D this one, maybe create a variation, Shift D like this. But as you can see, they have really the same shape. So what I can do is I can select this one and you can click this random transform. So it's going to create a random transform simply. So just select this one and then random transform, select everything and then random transform. And also you can press S to scale it so that you will have, height difference. You can use you can arrange this or using particle setting, but I don't think I need that. In case if the if the tree is not snapped to the ground, what you can do is just select the tree and then select the snap to the ground. Select this one and then snap to the ground. It will snap with this one to the ground, but I think everything is snapped to the ground, so we don't have to worry about that. So after this, we need to place a camera so that we can adjust everything according to the. So shift right click right here and then press shift A and then add a camera. As you can see, this is the camera, so I can press 0 and we are seeing nothing. So the reason for that is we are seeing the road. So what I can do is I can go to view, navigation, and then click this walk nav. After this, I can navigate as if I'm navigating inside a game by using WASD navigation, Q downward and E upward. So I can just select, I can just place the camera where I want it to be placed. After that, what I can do is I can adjust, the resolution right here. So I'm just going to make both of them 1080. So just adjust the place where you want the camera to be placed. The next thing that I have done for the camera is if you go to the camera setting, make sure that the camera is selected. I have made the focal length to be 29 millimeters. So after this, what I can do is I can hit Ctrl S to save everything in case it crashes, and I can activate this particle setting to see the grasses. So after this, let me deactivate this show release, and I can press Ctrl S again, and I can go to the render view to see everything. But before that, let me set up an HDRI. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to this shader editor. I'm going to change this one to world, and then let me drag this one right here. So this is the world properties, and I'm going to press shift A and then add environment texture like this, and then plug this one right here, and then click open and select the HDR that you are going to use for this tutorial. I have placed the link in the description. You can download it there. I have opened the image as you can see, and I'm going to press Ctrl T to add this mapping node. As I've said earlier, make sure that you have activated this node Wrangler add-on. Then after this, you can control, the rotation of this HDR. So I'm going to go to the render setting and let me change this one to cycle, since we're going to cycles, and I'm going to use GPU. If you have a GPU device, make sure that this is a GPU. And for the viewport, I'm going to activate this denoise, and I'm going to use albedo on normal, and I'm going to use optics for the denoise. And for the color management, I'm going to use filmic color management and make the look to medium high contrast. And I'm going to use Ctrl S. Before anything, I'm going to activate this render region so that it will be rendered on the camera. So this is what we got. So the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go to view, navigation, and then walk navigation. Make sure that you have given this a shortcut. Just right click, then click assign shortcut. Since I've already assigned a shortcut, I won't see assign shortcut. But for your case, if you don't have assigned a shortcut, give it a shortcut. For this case, I have used V. So I'm going to hit V, and then I'm going to get closer to the house since I'm a little bit too far. After this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this grass, and then I'm going to go to this particle setting, and I'm going to change the hair length to 2 meters so that it will be a lot bigger than it is actually now. And the next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag this one upward, and then I'm going to adjust the texture of this concrete texture. So what I'm going to do is this one is already selected, so I'm going to press shift A and add RGB curves right here, and I'm going to plug this one on the color, and then again press shift A and add a color ramp we're going to use to control the roughness of this concrete. So I'm going to plug this one right here and plug this one on the roughness, and I'm going to make the black portion a little bit more so that we will have more roughness. As you can see, we're having more roughness. That's what I want. After this, I'm going to make this a lot black than it used to be. Yep, I think something like this will be good. And for the displacement, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this floor and go to this modifier properties. Let me make this one to 0.9 or something. I think the displacement is a little bit too much. Maybe I can make the mid-level a little bit. Yep, something like this. After this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to activate the show release, and I'm going to go to this solid view. And what I am going to do is I'm going to select one of the three and press shift D and place it closer to the camera. And then go press 0 to go to the camera, and I'm going to select the snap to the ground so that the tree will be snapped to the ground. And I'm going to press S to scale it, and then GX. I'm going to create something like this, and then press shift D again, and I'm going to place this one right here. Yep, something like this. That's what I want. After this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select one of the grid trees right here, Shift D, just select the different parts and then Shift D, and then Shift D. What after this, I'm going to click random transform so that they will be different, and I can also press S to scale it so that I will have scale difference. After this, just select snap to the ground. It will be snap to the ground. Select this one, snap to the ground. And then next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this tree and I'm going to press Shift D to duplicate so that I will fill some of the places right here. Just Shift D, and then press 0. What I'm going to do is I'm going to press G. Yep. Select the duplicated parts. Sorry. Select this. What I'm going to do is I think let me change this one to 3D viewport and I can press 0. Yep, I can control it right here. I can see what I'm doing right here, so I can just press G. And then I can press S to scale it, and then press G. Yep. Fill this one so that we won't see anything behind the camera. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to drag in like this. Let me change this one to as it was before, the outliner, and then press 0 right here. And I'm going to Control S to save it. And then if I go to render view to see what we got, so this is what we are getting out of the blue. So the next thing that we need to do is we need to add some rocks, weights in the places that are needed. So I'm going to do that. It's really simple. So to create those rocks and weights, I'm going to use this assets. You will find them in the link in the description below. What I'm going to do is for example, I'm going to select the weights. So I'm going to press M and then press new collection. I'm going to type it weights. After this, I'm going to press OK and then press M again. I'm going to click width. This is not included in the width collection. So after this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit this upward like this, and I'm going to drag it right here. And if I go to this particle properties and if I select this road, we have some particle. So I'm going to hit new again. After this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy the property from this one, from the previous one. So I'm going to select this one. And after this, I'm going to make the number to 1000. I don't need this much amount of so after this, I'm going to click this so that it will be a different particle setting. So I'm going to hit new, and I'm going to make this one to 1000 since I don't want it that much. And if I go to this render, you can see it's rendered as a collection, and for the collection it's using the collection for the glass. So I'm going to change this one to width since I want the widths to be distributed. And then in the rotation, I'm going to deactivate this rotation so that it will be it will be aligned vertically. But I think the place I want the widths to be placed, it's not correct. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to this vertex properties. I have already a vertex right here, so I'm going to hit new. So after that, what I'm going to do is go to the material properties, the particle properties. Let me deactivate this grass so that I can preview faster. And we are already on the second vertex group. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this one to weight paint. So I'm going to paint where I want the weights to be placed. So make sure that the weight is 1 and the strength is 1, or you can just decrease the strength, but just I'm going to place where I want the weights to be placed. As you can see, I want the weights to be placed somewhere around here, and then somewhere around here. If you decrease the strength, as you can see, it's more like green. As you can see, the red means it's 1, and the green means I think somewhere between 1 and 0, and the blue means 0. So you can just control by using that. Yep, I'm going to place it whatever it's necessary. In case if the vertex property is not working, the reason for that is it does not have subdivision, that much subdivision. So you can just hit tab and you can press Ctrl R. You can give it more subdivision. Yep, something like this. After this, I can I can remove and add simply, as you can see. So it needs to have enough subdivisions for the weight mean to work correctly. So after this, what I'm going to do is in the particle properties, in the vertex group, I'm going to assign the second one. So when I do that, as you can see, it's being placed on the second part. So if I, for example, create something like this, as you can see, you can do this in real time. So I'm going to decrease the amount of this number. So I'm going to make it maybe 500 or something. I think this is a little bit too much, right? I can just decrease the number. After this, I can also change the scale difference. So as you can see in the render, you can increase the scale and you can increase the scale randomness. Yep, you can make it maybe something like this. Let me decrease the number. Yep, You can also place some light right around here and also right around here. I think we have adjusted it. So what I'm going to do is just go to the object tool. For the rocks, what I'm going to do is I'm not going to use particle system. I'm going to use Control Shift D to duplicate it. And then press GZ. I'm going to place them a little bit apart. Just select all of the rocks and then press GZ since I'm going to snap to the ground later. So I'm just going to press Shift D and I'm going to hit Shift D and then just randomly place them where you want it to be placed. Shift D this one right around here and then create a version, maybe some right here, and then Shift D like this right here. And for the trunk, I'm going to hit Shift D and place one right here, and then G and then Shift Z to move it on the X and Y axis only, and then press 0. So you can see it's visible on the camera view. That's what will matter. And after this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this one and then snap to the ground. Just select every rock and then snap to the ground. In order to create random transform, so I'm going to select this one and then random transform, and then select this one, random transform, and I'm going to press S to scale it and to press GZ. Just, I need to manipulate it on my own, and then press GZ and move it like this. And if I press Ctrl S to save everything and go to the camera view and select this road and then activate this grass, and then I'm going to press Ctrl S and then I can see what I have got. So guys, I think this is what we got. It's looking good. And for the glass, I'm going to select the glass. To see what I'm selecting, I'm going to activate show release. If I go to material properties and let me deactivate this show release to see what we are going to change. For the color, I think it was a little bit more dark and we were not seeing that much reflection. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it more white. I think something like this will be good. And for the mullion, what I'm going to do is let me select this again, and this one I'm going to make it a little bit more grayish. I think what we got is too black. I think something like this. Now I think we are getting more reflection. It looks more better than the previous one. The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to place a car right here. I'm going to use a free add-on from this case also. It's called Traffic Free. You can download it. As for the trees, I'm going to shift right click in the place where I want the car to be placed, and then I'm going to click spawn assets, and in the contemporary cars you will find this car, and I'm going to hit OK, and then let me go to the solid view so that I can work freely, and then I'm going to press R and then Z and then 180 degrees. If I press 0 my numpad to get inside of the camera mode, and if I press N to slide inside the tab, and if I go to the render view to see what I have got finally, let me deactivate the show release so that I can see clearer. As you can see guys, this is what we got. And for the final render, what you have to do is go to this render properties, and then in the render make sure that you have used enough samples, but I think 1024 will be good since it's an exterior scene. It does not need that much samples. Maybe since there are a lot of grasses you might need that much samples. And in the denoise, make sure that the denoiser is open image denoiser. In the paths are albedo normal, and pretty much this is the default, so you don't have to worry about it that much. So basically this is what I use for most of my exterior renders and also interior renders. And for the output properties, I'm going to make the percentile to 150% so that I will have more detail. I think this is around 2K if I'm not mistaken, assuming that you are using 1K for the X and Y resolution. And I think we have finished everything. All you have to do after this is hit and then render image. It will render out the image and you can save it. So guys, this is all for today. I hope you have learned something from this video. If you like this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe so that I can keep making videos like this in the future. See you in the next tutorial.